Hello and welcome to BeamNG Drive. I'm your host, davidinark, and we're picking up where we left off last time on the Spencer Johnson Parkour 3. We are in Candyland. I mean, technically you can't call it that, but we're on the candy map, and we are trying to get up and around a candy cane. Now, this actual real-time recording is another 2-hour or almost a 2-hour session, and as you can see, getting up the stupid candy cane is part of the reason why it's a 2-hour session. And even when I do get around the corner and up to the top, you will see that it does not take long for me to fall off the edge. Oh, this game. Oh, I made it. Oh, sorry. I thought I fell off there. Okay, well, after you leave the candy canes, then you get to drive on chocolate. And it's just a bumpy ride, and you have to really watch where your wheels are going. And then we have the little Peppermint Candies. And this was a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed this level a whole lot, except for right there where I fell off. So during the next attempt, as I drive across here and fall off, we take yet another opportunity to attempt to do this. Now, at this point, you'll notice that the video is paused. And the reason why it's paused is, well, because I went to go get a snack. I don't know. Maybe it was playing these different food-based levels. I don't know what it was, but anyhow, at this point, I went and grabbed a snack. Now, I purposely paused the game here because part of this challenge is that you've got to submit a recording of your entire run, and I'm pausing this so that when I turn in my full video, Spencer will know that this time of being paused is not going to be included. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to edit this out. I may have to talk to him about that. He may rather I don't. I may leave it in, but I'm not going to count the time on pause for the overall situation here, for the overall leaderboard score. Ultimately, though, we get off of the candies, and now we are in the tubes, and I will tell you, this was a whole lot of fun. Some of the tubes are very easy to get through, and other ones, the vehicle starts to just absolutely get away from you, and you have no idea where you're going or what's happening. In fact, there's one right there, the yellow tube. Oh my gosh, I tried different angles, I tried just all kinds of different techniques to try to get through, and obviously I eventually did. Now with the green tube, I'll be honest, I can't remember. I'm watching as you are. Oh, yeah. There are a few places in the green tube that are a little difficult to navigate. And in fact, in all of the tubes, you really have to figure out your speed and your angle of attack. Oh, the blue tubes. Okay, so the blue tubes, they are part solid, they are part clear, and they are all frustration. Let me tell you, there are at least 2 big loops, and the loops are in the glass enclosure. So trying to figure out where the path of the tubes go in a clear environment is absolutely insane. And a ton of fun. Now here, I was on my side, but I just kept wiggling my truck until the point where I fell down the tube so that I can continue. Unfortunately, when I ended up on my side the second time in that same run, well, as you can tell, I didn't go anywhere. Oh, so I did figure out that I had to be going at least 85 miles an hour in order to make the first giant loop. Now, this loop here, I'm actually facing the wrong direction. The loop that I'm stuck on right now, it took me a while to figure out how to time my speed and where I was supposed to be in order to gain that momentum to get up over and through this particular section. This was not simple by any stretch. And as I've said many, many times, there's a whole lot of this parkour map that is not simple. But what's really crazy is just about the time you think that you're just ready to, as I've said yesterday, rage quit, it actually goes pretty smoothly. This is a perfect example. The purple tunnel here is a mixture of solid and clear, but then at the very end, it's just a drop down. And I'll be honest, I wasn't sure what was going to happen at that point. I was just glad that it spit me out where I needed to go. Now, we move on to the rock parkour. Yeah, I have no idea how many courses. I'm sure it said at the beginning of the map somewhere how many courses there are. Oh, these rocks. I did not look. I didn't go back and measure how much time or calculate how much time I spent on each section. But I'm fairly certain that I spent probably an hour alone on the rock section as a whole, and probably spent a majority of that time on this first part. I just could not figure out how to get the stupid truck across these rocks without those juts reaching up and grabbing underneath the truck. I got high centered so many times. Just, oh my gosh, it was so frustrating. And then you'd have things like the spare tire underneath would get caught, or you would break your exhaust, and the now semi-free exhaust system would catch on a rock and prevent you from continuing. I was trying all kinds of things. Ultimately, I did figure out, at least for me anyway, that if I stuck kind of toward the left, then that seemed to work out pretty well. I was doing all kinds of things. I went through a phase, and I don't know where it is, in relation to where we are in the video, to be honest. Oh, it's right here. I went through a phase where basically I threw the truck into manual gear and would sit it in neutral, rev the engine, and just jam it into gear and let the thing just fly as fast as it could. That might work for some people. I will tell you, as you can see, it did not work for me at all. This was brutal, and this is the first leg of the rock parkour part of this map. I hadn't even made it past this point yet. I mean, so frustrating. But I don't know what it is. This is one of those weird things that you get, or I get anyway, very, very frustrated, and yet I am so compelled to beat the dumb thing. And so I keep at it and keep at it. Look at there. I got so close and then got hung up. I spent a whole lot of time trying to wiggle my way free when I would get stuck, and that was really that's a bad decision. I can tell you, every once in a while it works. Hey, see, there you go, I got free right there. But every now and then, wiggling around to get yourself free as a strategy works. But for the most part, you are wasting time. And part of this challenge is how quickly can you complete all of the parkour challenges. Once again, as we saw yesterday, so many of these thin little trails that you have to balance your truck on. This part here, I thought this was very, very clever, because not only do you have to try to avoid getting stuck in the ruts, but you also have to figure out the various angles of attack in order to get your truck maneuvered through the way the rock formations kind of sit in the level. Ultimately got through that one, and then this little doozy. the track is, for all intents and purposes, as wide as the truck, and when you go around corners, it's just the either the front end or the back end want to kind of slide off the edge. And so once again, I spent a lot of time trying to finagle. I tried doing some top-down view. This actually worked out very, very well, except for this part right here. In this section of the map, as you can see, the path actually drops. And so as it is descending, you have to try to control your vehicle to the point where you can still steer it, and you try to curb that momentum, and it is a chore. The other problem I have with a lot of these maps, a lot of these sections, is that as I get close to the end, as I get close to the gray pad where I'm allowed to set a respawn point, I get overzealous. And so I immediately try to get myself there as fast as I can, and of course end up falling off the edge. Now here is a series of rock jumps that you have to land and then launch yourself off of the next section. I don't know if Gray Still Plays has played this map. It's been a while. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think back of the last few videos that I said. I don't think he's tried this yet. This to me is very reminiscent of the GTA kind of like impossible maps that he plays. I think he should give this a try. I really do. This section right here, holy cow, Spencer, what are you on, my friend? So this is not only a balance your truck section, because you've got this kind of rounded or curved top, but the descent on this thing is so steep, and we'll see it when I finally get through here. For all intents and purposes, if I'm not mistaken, I think I end up just sending the truck over, and just kind of letting it coast down. Well, I kind of breezed through that a little too quickly. But it was very, very steep. And then finally, for today's video, we have what is called the ice parkour. And spoiler alert, Dave doesn't make it through the ice parkour. As a matter of fact, a very, very interesting thing happened. Now, as we get through these parts, that first part that we saw with the flat pieces, that was fine. This part here, where you've got the ice cubes that you are driving up, what you are looking at right here is one of the best runs that I had the entire time. Because ultimately, when I would get stuck like that, I spent a lot of time not being able to complete the challenge. And as a matter of fact, as you'll see here in just a little bit, I get progressively worse the more I tried to complete the ice parkour section of the map. I can't even explain it. It was so weird. It was, I don't know, it was as if my mind and my body were no longer talking to each other. It was so crazy. Just the experience alone. I don't know. I mean, I really can't. I can't explain it. Parts of this, I'd done tons, dozens of times while trying to get through this, and it was as if not only was it my first time doing it, it was, I don't know, like I was blindfolded. I have no idea. I can't explain it for the life of me, but it just did not go well at all. So there you go, part 2 of the Parkour 3 map from Spencer Johnson. The only way to get it so far that I'm aware of, which I guess this may be why Gray Still Plays hasn't played it. I don't know if he is a patron or not. But anyway, you have to be a patron of Spencer's, and that is at patreon.com/Spencer Johnson. And once you join up there, then you can get access to really cool, fun maps like this. I know I sound like I'm being sarcastic, but I'm not. It really is a whole lot of fun. Now, you got any questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories, feel free to leave those down in the comments section below. Special thanks to Hero of God, GamerGull, LosWilko, Connie C, and Zachary for supporting the channel on Patreon and through channel memberships. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. I'm davidinark. We'll see you next time in BeamNG Drive. Have a great day.